It's like a clown car of stuff coming out of this bag. The majority of this is lead, and so I'm just literally filling my bag with lead over and over. So to the ultra light hikers out there, yes, I not only put tennis rackets, flamingos, and other things, I put lead into my bag as often as I can. Hey, my name is Brent from Ghost Town Living, and today we're going to unpack what I bring on the trail when I hike around Cerro Gordo. So in 2018, I bought the abandoned mining town of Cerro Gordo, and Cerro Gordo was established as a mining town in 1865, and it grew to be the largest silver mine in California's history. I originally moved out there in March of 2020, thinking I would go out there for a week or two. You know, I was escaping the pandemic. I've been living there pretty much every day since. And I spend my days just exploring the abandoned mines, renovating old buildings, and just understanding the history that's all around that place. The bag I bring everywhere is this one. This is the Patagonia Cragsmith 45. And this originally was a rope bag, you know, so it's primarily for climbing. But I like it because it's just about the right size for all your gear for a single or multi-day hike. And it's got kind of like a hard exterior here. So if you were to take a tumble, you know, climbing up some shale or anything like that, it really works out well. So on the sides, it has this very stretchy kind of pouch. And when I can't fit my tripod, if I'm filming something and I can't fit my tripod inside the bag itself, my tripod fits pretty nice inside of there. So I guess let's check out what I bring with me. Was that too dramatic? There's all sorts of things in here. I think probably first and maybe most, I don't know, controversial is I don't love multi-tools. I just think the multi-tools kind of fail on every regard. It's almost like having a mediocre many tools. So instead I bring old school tools. You know, I find tools around the property, so I bring an old school screwdriver. I got this, you know, in case I need to trim some some branches on my hike, which looks like a murder weapon. I do have this. This is not old, but I have that. You know, I'm thinking about taping them all together to make my own multi-tool. If you're looking out for trends for 2023, I think multi-tools are on their way out, actually. I think that old school, rusted, wooden handled tools are back in. More modern things that I bring with me is I bring a ruler everywhere. And this is for like archaeological reasons. You know, when I first got up to Cerro Gordo, I was finding all these artifacts. I would find old bottles, I would find, you know, dynamite instructions, dynamite boxes, old coins, all these different things. An archaeologist hit me up and he was like, you know, context is the most important part of archaeology, and you're losing the context the moment that you remove anything from where you found it. And so if you're going to do that, the two things you should do if you find an artifact of any type is you should put down a ruler like this next to it, take a photo. That'll give you basically the scale of how big the item is. And ideally your phone, if you're using your phone to take the photo, will capture the GPS coordinates. And so over time, what I hope to do is just kind of create a map of where everything is found. You know, for me, the thing that gets me most excited about Cerro Gordo is just trying to piece together that past, you know, to understand that history there. And pretty much on every hike, you know, I'm gonna have downtime and I always bring a book with me. Right now, I'm bringing Marcus Aurelius Meditations, which, if you haven't heard of, it is the journal of the Emperor of Rome from 2,000 years ago. You know, these are private thoughts that he never anticipated being published, and they're short. You know, you can look at any of the pages and they're just kind of short paragraphs, but every one of them kind of hits you right to your core. And at Cerro Gordo, we're in between Mount Whitney, which is the tallest peak in the continental US, and then Death Valley National Park, where Badwater is, the lowest point in the continental US. And so every day it's just kind of like this take your breath away, awe-inspiring experience on every hike. And so meditation is a great book to kind of get in that headspace. I think Desert Solitaire by Edward Abbey is just a beautiful book that talks about the desert in general and kind of brings out that same type of awe if you're looking about a little bit more inspiration. Next, we have a tennis racket, which might seem very random, and especially for you ultralight hikers out there, might hate the thought of bringing anything unnecessary. You know, we're right by the Pacific Crest Trail, so I know people like cut their toothbrushes in half to like save weight. So the idea of carrying around a tennis racket or two is ridiculous, but it's fun, you know. I think it's like a blast to be out there, even if you're just by yourself, to like hit a tennis ball up in the air. You know, you can only have so much seriousness on any hike, and so for me, I like to have a little fun too. You know, like even the other thing that I have in this bag is this Flamingo. I hope that in 100 years, if somebody walks back to the end of a mine that's been abandoned for now 250 years and they see this, that'll bring them some type of joy. This is the sunscreen I use. It's Neutrogena Healthy Defense. I use Burt's Bees. Again, not the most unique take, but it does work for me. We have this crayon, and again, people are gonna be like, you know, you got crayons, you got flamingos, but this crayon was given to me by someone that means a lot to me, and it broke recently, and so I repaired it with a Band-Aid. It's a robin's egg blue crayon. It's my favorite color, and I like write little notes and I leave them in minds. Again, to hopefully down the road somebody else finds these notes and finds them interesting. Inevitably in all of my bags there's this. This is Galena. This is the mineral that they're mining at Cerro Gordo. So Galena is lead and silver, and with some sulfur in it, some other different things. And I find it all around the property and I collect it. And so no matter what, I always put it in my bag. But at the end of the day, the majority of this is lead, and so I'm just literally filling my bag with lead over and over. I collect the lead because if you do a process, you can remove it down to just pure silver, and I've done that before, and I've made things like pendants and rings, and like to make a thing you can wear from the minerals on a property you own is like really special. The other thing that I'll bring out, this is one of those lights that just kind of lights up the ceiling. Mines to me are like the only place in the world that I can have just peace. But eventually I like to just have fun too. You know, I bring flamingos, I have my little party light, and those are kind of the less serious items in this bag. This is the Mavic Air 2. You know, it's a pretty lightweight drone made by DJI. At this point I think I've crashed at least 12 or 13 drones. This one itself, it's seen better days. You can see there's kind of stains, they're all kind of chipped up a little bit, but it takes beautiful images. And a lot of times when I'm doing these hikes, you know, I'm filming them. You know, I do have a YouTube channel where I capture the beauty and the nature and the history of everything. And you can also do 3D mapping, which is pretty cool. Preserving the town and capturing the history there is like what I get most excited about. And so with the drone, I want to be able to capture all the buildings as they stand today. My Sony A7, and I have the Sony G Master lens on it, which is a cool lens. And this shoots just like beautiful film, you know, to the point where you're able to capture what I need to. You know, I'm able to capture the beauty of everything around me. The final thing I use to capture all the different videos is just a GoPro. You know, and this one's set up obviously to go on my head if I were to go into a mine. This is the tripod I use. You know, it's telescoping, so obviously you can fit in the bag. The reason I have this specific tripod is somebody left it in town, and so I choose to love it. But I have purchased it since. You know, it works great. It fits really well in the bag. I bring this audio recorder because sometimes when I'm out there I get inspired by like whatever I'm looking at, and if I'm gonna go back and maybe do like a voiceover on one of the videos, or just maybe even for my own journal. Oh yeah, and I forgot, the most important thing that I bring on my everyday carries. You know, Jocko Willink once said, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. And so on my hikes I typically bring as many McDonald's hamburgers as I can. In this case we have 4. It's not good. It's definitely not good. I got a couple for you guys. I think I choose to bring the things that I do for 2 reasons. One, it's to bring joy. You know, if you look on this side of the table, we have a flamingo, we have a weird light, we have a tennis racket, we have a crayon. Or 2, to try to remind me of either history or just the ephemeral nature of life. All right, so that's it. You know, that's what I bring on my hikes all around Cerro Gordo. If you're interested in checking out some of the videos I make with these cameras, or just more about me or the town, you can check out my YouTube channel. It's called Ghost Town Living. Till next time, see you out there.